So the show's been off the air for quite a while, obviously. How did this come about? How are we getting more of the greatest animated?
Somebody called us.
Yeah, somebody called and said,
Want to make more? And we're like,
okay,
we've always
sure,
said,
Sure, we'll do that.
The one thing we did have to say is you do realize that both of us are currently in production on other shows.
For you.
Yes. So we'll have to manufacture time for this. As long as you're willing to be understanding, we're good with it. And they went, okay, we can do that.
I think it came about because the show's been like in the top 5 on Disney Plus since they started, and I think pandemic, a lot of people went back to that for a comfort show.
Yeah.
And I think that really pushed the numbers up, and they were like, "Why? We should do more of this show." And so,
But
we chose to end it when we ended it because they weren't canceling it, but they were like, "We're going to wait and see how this season does," which. The way they'd been picking it up, we'd been able to keep our staff around, and suddenly it was like, oh, if they wait, then we're going to lose all of our staff, and we're going to have to re-up. And I was like, it's okay with us to finish this show. I'd love to have a last day of summer vacation. And they were like, okay. And then they had a couple meetings and came back and said, as long as you don't kill anybody off, as long as we can do more at some point, okay, let's end the show.
So we rewrote the last day of summer based on that.
Yeah, because originally everybody was going to die.
Oh, yeah.
And it was going to be a really sad episode.
What was funny was when they came back to us, that I could detect there was like a tentative nature of they weren't sure we were going to say yes, and I'm like, of course we love these characters. Why would we not?
Well, we did. We did the movie in 2020 for Disney Plus, and that really just felt like so much fun. Like coming back, these guys. We did the crossover with Mila Murphy's Law. So we've sort of been dipping our toes back in there periodically, and they're always putting Doofenschmirtz in these little interstitials. So I've kept the voice up over the years, but we miss these guys, so it's fun to get back in.
Well, I was wondering, in terms of merchandise, like being able to immerse yourself more into the Phineas and Ferb universe, do you have any characters that you would like to see more products of? Like, I know there's a ton of Perry plushes everywhere. Perry and Perry the Platypus plushes. Yeah. Are there any products or types of products or characters you'd like to see come out with this new
My favorite thing was when I got to Japan and I went to the Disney offices in Japan, and they have a whole different structure for how they're allowed to make toys. Mm-hmm. And there was Meep toys and Klimpaloon toys, and I was like, this is
I would love
wonderful.
to see those toys in the U.S. But to me, the thing that I missed the most from the show being on the air and being like something that they were promoting a lot is in the parks they had a Phineas and Ferb dance party at California Adventure, which was just maybe the best thing that's ever happened in my life. Is to go there. Like the first time I saw that, I was there with my wife and kids, and we had approved all the designs of the car they come out in and the songs they were going to choreograph to, and then they just went off and choreographed and everything. We were in the middle of making the movie, and we were super, super busy, so they sent us an email saying, hey, it's up and running next time you go to the parks, and I was like, okay, cool, and I completely forgot about that email. So I'm in California Adventure, and we're like hanging out, and I'm going, suddenly I go, wait a minute, I think there's a Phineas and Ferb dance party thing. I didn't say this out loud. I went to I said, hold on one second. And I just went and asked a park employee and said, is there a Phineas and Ferb dance thing that happened? And they're like, oh yeah, it's right over there, and it takes place in 10 minutes. And I was like, honey, you and the kids come over. You're gonna really want to see this. And I hadn't even told them it existed, And the girls were like, Dad, we want to go to Big Thunder, or the Grizzly Rapids, And it was like, well, no, we'll just wait here for a bit. And there were people already lined up ready for it, in Phineas gear and with Perry the Platypus and stuff like that.
Dressed up like Fireside Girls.
And my wife was like, honey, what is this? And I said, dude, just wait. And then the music started. My daughters were like, Dad, can you hear that? It's the Phineas. And they came and did this big thing, and they were singing all these songs that we wrote in a little office in the Frank G. Wells building 2 years earlier. And that was like me and my wife just held each other and cried. the entire time. And I was like, I'm glad everybody's looking at them, because if they look at us, they're going to think we're having some weird psychotic break.
Adults are having a breakdown in the park. The dancing's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But that to me was
So
the
that
thing
was
about
really
that
fun.
was watching all of the kids who were waiting and jumping in and dancing. They knew all the routines. They would jump in and do the dances along with the dancers. That was just wow.
It was really cool.
For a kid who grew up in Southern California at Disneyland, I mean, my grandfather used to play there. To think that something we'd created was a part of that kind of integration into the park was just.
That's really the
I still
coolest.
get. Yeah, it's cool. As cool as I dreamed it could have ever been.
No.
I have a question for Dan.
Sure.
Specifically about Hamster Gretel.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to ask about working with your daughter on the show.
Yeah.
Since they are the lead character of the
Oh,
show.
she's a little diva. She is such a pain to. No, she's.
And how's it
She's
your relationship
great.
as a parent? You having your child starring in the show, and you're here.
It's weird because it wasn't something that I really wanted, and like my wife and I had actually talked about like not wanting our kids to go into acting if at all possible, and then it was during the pandemic. I was just putting together a presentation piece like we did for Phineas, and I was just doing all the voices. And I was like, oh, I've got a little girl here. I should see if she can, hey, Melly, can you come in here and just read something for me? And she came in and read it. And she just got the humor right away because she grew up with me as her dad. And so, I would tell her the kind of read one. She would just nail it every time. And then was like, okay, well, let's just use her for the pilot, and then we recast everybody when we went to full pilot for testing, except for her, because it was working so well. And then that character tested all really super high marks, and Disney was like, if it's not broken, let's maybe not fix it. And I had to have like a conversation with my wife about like I know we said not acting, but because I know how hard Hollywood is on live action actresses, especially girls, but voiceover is a very different animal. Everybody's a lot more kinder and gentler, and I like the voice actors that I know are a lot better evolved. How would you say?
More well adjusted.
More well adjusted.
I had the same. My son did a lead voice for me on Pete the Cat, and it was wonderful working with my child. But you did have to stop for a moment and go,
Is this
oh
gonna
God, I'm
mess them
encouraging
up?
my child to get into
exactly.
acting. No, it'll be fine. And
And Melly doesn't even really want to be an actor. She's very good at it, but she she wants to be an engineer or a vet, or like that's not her ambition. She just has she's able to nail the humor. And we actually auditioned a whole bunch of girls for that part to see if I could find somebody that was better. And there was only like one other that I felt like was as close in the humor, in just sort of the timing of the humor. And I felt like her voice didn't work as well with the thing, so we just ended up going with her. So. But it's so much fun. We record most of her stuff just from my home office. On the weekends we get together and record a show. So it's good.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can I didn't get to answer
Yes.
the question
Sorry.
yet.
it better be a good one. That's all I'm saying.
The thing I wanted to ask you is how do you find the right voice for the show? Like you both sound great on the show. How do you find the right voice?
How did you
Play.
find Monogram? Monogram's
It was
Walter
me
Cronkite, right?
doing a very bad impression of Walter Cronkite. I wanted somebody that you felt you could trust.
So for
And then we
everybody out there
ripped
that's
the rug.
less than 50 years old, Walter Cronkite was a news anchor on the
Newsman for many years for us growing up, so
Yes.
that's him. Now, Walter Cronkite. That's the way it was.
And Doofenschmirtz is just the way that I pitched it the first time I pitched it to anybody. And they just sort of fell in love with it. And my sister says that's the voice I would use when we were little kids. And we would play, pretend games where if I was the evil scientist or if I was the evil guy, I would always talk like this for some reason. So to her, it just sounds like
It was funny. I can only do Monogram's voice for about 45 minutes tops.
Okay.
But he can do Doofenschmirtz all day. And then
It sounds like mine would hurt more,
and
doesn't
it doesn't.
It does,
But then when we did
Milo
Milo
he was
Murphy's
the higher
Law.
pitched.
I did Balthazar Cavendish, which is just a very posh Englishman named Balthazar
He
Cavendish.
could talk like that all the time. And I was Vinny Dakota. I was talking way
45
down here
minutes
like this.
tops, and I'm like, now you know how it feels.
And I'd get about minute 30. I'd be like, we gotta cut this short really quick. The lower octaves do worse for your vocal cords.
It's harder.
Doofenschmirtz is all head voice anyway, so it's easy.
Awesome.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much.
Grab those mics back from you.